everyone! Today we're going to create this Lilac Dragonfly card using the Country Dragonfly stamp set and thick cuts, along with some Celebrate Today Vellum die cuts and stickers. This card was made for the Color My Heart Dare blog for the Purple Monochromatic Challenge. Let's get started with this project. Before I create the card, I need to take some of this white ribbon and dye it purple using this Eggplant reinker. So I've already cut a piece of the white ribbon, a little bit longer than I'm going to need it. I'm going to put a few drops of reinker into this plastic palette tray, add a little bit of water to thin it out, and then I'm going to take a brush and brush that ink along the strip of ribbon. I have placed my ribbon down onto my all-purpose mat. This all-purpose mat is easy to clean and wipe up, especially for projects just like this. So here I am just brushing that diluted reinker right onto the ribbon, and it does look pretty dark at this point, but you're going to see as it dries, it will change to the eggplant color. You can lay your ribbon flat and allow it to air dry, but I prefer to heat set it with a heat tool. I'm using a pair of tweezers to hold the ribbon so that I don't dye my fingers purple. This heat tool dries the ribbon pretty quickly, and once it's been set, you can see that that white ribbon is now the color of the purple I need for my card. To create the background, I'm going to use this Country Dragonfly stamp with some Wisteria ink on a piece of Wisteria cardstock. I'm going to be randomly stamping these images. So I'm just inking up the dragonfly and rotating the stamp as I stamp it down onto the background piece. Now you're going to see randomly stamping doesn't mean random. I have triangles that I formed here so that it's more of a pattern to the randomness. As I finish stamping, I'm just going to add some parts and pieces of the dragonfly going off the edges of the Wisteria cardstock to make it look a little bit more balanced. Once the stamping is complete, I have the background for our card. We are going to be using Eggplant ink to stamp that Country Dragonfly image onto the center of the circle as a background image for the 3 layers we're going to create. And we're going to be stamping this dragonfly onto a scrap piece of white cardstock that's going to be cut out using the matching thin cut that comes with this dragonfly stamp set. Now that all of our stamping is complete, we can start building our card. Here we have all the layers we need to create our card. We have the Eggplant and Wisteria cardstock backgrounds, an Eggplant cut tag, the circle we've stamped the dragonfly, and 2 of the dragonflies we've cut using this thin cut. This die can be purchased with the Country Dragonfly stamp set. We also have some Celebrate Today Vellum die cuts, that ribbon that we dyed, and a lace border. We're going to start by adhering that lace border down onto the left side of the card. And I'm just applying a thin bead of glue, then adhere that lace down about 1/2 inch from the left. After it's been adhered down, I'm going to trim the top and the bottom of that lace die cut. The ribbon that we dyed is going to be placed along the edge of this lace die cut, and I'm going to take my tape runner, run it along the edge, lay that ribbon down, and then flip the card over and add a little bit more adhesive to the back, trim the ribbon, and fold over those edges. The excess ribbon is going to be used to create a small bow that's going to go on the lower left-hand corner of the card. For now, I'm just going to set it aside and start working with the dragonfly layers. So I have the purple tag, I have the circle, and I have the 2 dragonfly die cuts. I'm going to adhere that circle down onto the purple tag. Then I'll layer the 2 dragonfly die cuts on top. Now I want to fold up these wings, and there's not quite enough movement for me. So I'm going to snip below and above the wings so that they have a little bit more give and more bend to allow me to have a 3-dimensional butterfly. Once those have been snipped, I can fold the wings and use a 3D foam dot to place that layer down onto the circle. This next dragonfly layer was stamped onto vellum and heat embossed using clear embossing powder. And I only want the wings to show, so I'm going to snip out a portion of the body. And I'm just simply taking my scissors and I'm cutting up under those wings, and then I'm going to go above the wings and remove the head portion of the dragonfly. And this will give me a translucent set of wings that I can adhere as another layer onto this dragonfly image. I'm going to first bend each of these leaves up at the center so that I give them a little bit of bend to lift off of that second dragonfly layer. And then I'm going to apply a little bit of liquid adhesive and place this down on the center of the dragonfly. All three of those stamped layers give this dragonfly a beautiful look. I love those translucent wings. They just add so much to my card. I had originally planned to place these leaf die cuts over on the left-hand side, but I don't like how they look. They seem unbalanced. So I'm going to cut this die cut in half so I have two sets of this type of shaped leaf. Now I've placed them going diagonally and I'm still not fond of how they look. So I fiddled with them a little bit, and you can see just by rotating them in opposite direction the way I had it, it gives it a completely different look and one that I feel was more balanced for the design of the card. I want to add a little bit of texture to this using some embellishing thread, but before I do that, I need to glue down each one of those leaf die cuts. These leaves come from our Celebrate Today Vellum punch-out sheet. They're very easy to punch out. They're also fun to curl using your fingertip. I do this often with vellum leaves just to give it a little bit of added dimension on a project. Once these have been glued down, I can create my loops of silver embellishing thread. Whenever you unwind our embellishing thread, you always end up with these little kinks, and I just like to take my fingernail and run it along that thread. It takes out all of the kinks. Then I can wrap that thread around my finger to create 2 or 3 loops, pull the ends to shape and resize each one of the loops, trim the ends, adhere a glue dot in the center to hold them in place, remove the backing, and layer them on top of the leaves. We're going to repeat this same process with the second loop. Remove the kinks, wrap the thread around your fingers, shape the loops, add a glue dot, then layer it on top of the leaves. Now I can adhere the circle with the dragonfly layers onto my card using some 3D foam tape. Once this has been placed on the card, I can adjust the embellishing thread loops and the ends. Sometimes I'll trim these, other times I will leave them showing. If you want more of a distressed, messy look, you can use the tips of your scissors to fray the ends of the embellishing thread. As you can see, I've adhered the card to the eggplant card base, and now I'm going to add my sentiment. I've decided to use these stickers from the Celebrate Today paper pack. I'll first remove them from the backing sheet, and then I'll use my anti-static bag to remove the stickiness from the back of the stickers. Once the stickiness has been removed using that anti-static bag, I can use some thin 3D foam dots on the back of each one of these stickers and add them to my card. Now we can add that bow we created earlier using that ribbon we dyed with the re-inker. I've made the bow a little bit smaller, trimmed the ends, and I'm just going to glue it to the lower left-hand side of the card. The final step is to add a little bit of sparkle with these bitty sparkles. These sparkles can be a little bit tricky to apply. I like to use my tweezers. Some people like to use the tips of their scissors. Either way, you need to be very careful when you're applying them and make sure that they are stuck down well to your project. And now our Lilac Dragonfly card is complete. I love how this card turned out. All of the shades of purple, the layers of vellum, and even the multiple layers on that dragonfly. Thank you for joining me today as we created this Lilac Dragonfly card. The supplies used on this project can be found in the description below, as well as a link to my blog with more details about this card and other projects that I've created. Please feel free to hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video, or subscribe to my channel to see future creations. I hope you are inspired by today's project, and I can't wait to see what you create.